Welcome to Teach, Inspire and Grow, the podcast making waves in swim education. I'm Helen Hughes, founder of Mini Water Adventurers, creator of the Orca Swim Trainer and a firm believer that swimming lessons should be more than just a flip and float or endless lengths of boring stroke work. Whether you are brand new to teaching or have been in the game for years, I've got a fresh and unique approach you won't find anywhere else. It's got a bit of fluff and tenderness because learning to swim should feel magical, but it also is packed with purpose and momentum, ensuring every splash leads to real progress. If you're ready to ditch outdated drills and bring a splash of creativity into the pool, you are in the right place. We'll dive into everything from the power of games and swimming lessons to why toddlers should never be expected to self-rescue. Seriously, let's leave the dramatic movie stunts to the professionals. And yes, we take water safety seriously, but that doesn't mean we can't have a little fun along the way. So go grab your goggles, embrace the splashes, and let's jump right in. Welcome to the very first episode of Teach, Inspire and Grow. I'm your host, Helen Hughes, and I'm thrilled to have you here as we dive into the world of early years swimming. But let me warn you, this isn't going to be your usual fluffy chat about blowing bubbles and kicking legs. I'm here to challenge outdated methods, to push for real change, and to call out the practices that have been harming children for far too long. Today, we're talking about something that should be a no-brainer. How we, as swimming teachers, respond when a child cries in the pool. You might think this is simple, but let me tell you, it's not. The way we handle tears in the water sets the tone for everything that follows. And unfortunately, I still hear far too many horror stories about so-called professionals using force, fear and shame in their lessons. It's time to talk about it. It's time to set a new standard. Let me start by sharing a real story I was recently told by a distraught parent. Her little boy, 4 years old, went to his weekly swimming lesson, excited but a little nervous. Now we all know that this is completely normal. It's a big new experience and children need time to feel secure. But what happened next was nothing short of appalling. During the lesson, the teacher decided to, in quotes, condition the children. This is that outdated belief that kids need to be forcibly exposed to water to get used to it. So what did this teacher do? They threw water directly into the child's face. The little boy, startled and frightened, began to cry. And instead of receiving comfort, understanding or support, he was met with pure coldness. The teacher snapped at him. "If you don't stop crying, you're getting out." Let that sink in. A 4-year-old child, scared and vulnerable, was punished for expressing fear. Can you imagine if this happened in another setting? If a nursery teacher splashed water in a toddler's face at the water table and then shouted at them to stop crying? The authorities would be involved, and rightfully so. But in the swimming world, for some reason, this behaviour is still accepted in certain circles. This stops now. Tears are not a problem. Tears are communication. Children don't cry in swimming lessons to manipulate, to test limits, or to get out of doing the work. They cry because something feels overwhelming, unfamiliar, or frightening. Think about it. If a child is pushed beyond their comfort zone too quickly, they have very few ways to express that distress. Crying is their voice. And when we, as swimming teachers, ignore or punish that voice, we are teaching them one thing: that their feelings don't matter. And you know what happens then? One of two things. One, they give in and become submissive. They learn that no one will listen to them, so they shut down. They might as well comply, but it's not real learning, it's survival. They are just doing what they must do to get through that lesson. Number 2, they resist and refuse to engage. The pool becomes a battle zone. They fight, they cling, they scream, and swimming turns into something they fear rather than enjoy. Neither of these outcomes is acceptable. We should be nurturing swimmers, not breaking their spirits. Now let's talk about conditioning, the practice of forcing children to endure water splashes, submersions, or tough love approaches under the guise of making them stronger. This is the classic authoritarian teaching style. I tell you what to do and you do it. My way or you're misbehaving. It's outdated, ineffective, and quite frankly, cruel. And then we have the flip and float method. Well, I'm sure you've seen those videos, the ones where babies fully clothed are thrown into the pool, forced to flip onto their backs and miraculously float. Well, to the trained eye, it looks amazing. Parents sign up thinking it's the best thing since sliced bread. Wow, my baby can save themselves if they fall in? But let me tell you, the process to get to that point is horrific. Picture this. Babies struggling, flailing, desperately trying to turn themselves over. They finally manage it, exhausted, gasping, and there, hovering above them, is their teacher clicking their fingers in the air, trying to get the baby's attention to stop crying. Meanwhile, mum is crouched poolside, screaming inside, but clapping and saying, "Yay, well done, honey." Is this really for the child's benefit, or is it for the adult's peace of mind? And these same teachers, the ones who believe in forced conditioning, are the ones who throw water in kids' faces and expect them to just deal with it. It's completely, utter madness. So what do we do instead? We change the mindset. We set a new standard. A great early years swimming teacher doesn't force a child to submit. They don't demand obedience. They build trust. They acknowledge fear instead of dismissing it. They create small, achievable steps instead of throwing children into the deep end, literally or metaphorically. They use play and fun and encouragement instead of shame and punishment. They recognise that the best swimmers are the ones who love the water, not the ones who are scared to misbehave. And here's the most important piece of the puzzle: parents. Parent education is the single biggest missed opportunity, I believe, in early years swimming. Parents need to be a part of the process. They need to understand what's happening in lessons, why certain approaches are outdated, and how they can support their child's journey in the water. We will dive deeper into this, into the future episodes. But I want to make this crystal clear now. When parents are involved, children thrive. There will always be bad teachers and good teachers. And isn't it funny how the teachers who truly care, the ones constantly looking to improve and enhance their knowledge, are the ones to open to change. Meanwhile, the ones who think they know it all stay exactly as they are. I know what kind of teacher I want to be. Do you? If you're a swimming teacher listening to this, ask yourself, how do you react when a child cries in your lesson? Are you a teacher who nurtures confidence or one who demands compliance? Are you willing to evolve, to challenge outdated methods, and to truly put children first? Because if not, if you're still throwing water in kids' faces, still silencing their tears, still using fear as a teaching tool, then you're in the wrong profession. The industry is changing, and if you're not ready to change with it, step aside. Thank you for joining me on this first episode of Teach, Inspire and Grow. If this resonates with you, share it. Let's spread the word, and I'll see you next time as we continue to push for better, safer, child-centered swimming lessons. Until next time, keep swimming smart.